Hi, my name is Itzel Bringas, and today I will show you guys my hot seat question from Linguistics 430. So here's my hot seat question. Teacher, why is this sentence wrong? Can you please drop the boxes of glass and china off? Now, the first thing that I focused on was on the noun china. Why? Because it's being capitalized. So this made me focus my research on capitalization. And here I found some rules that I want to share with you guys. So one of the rules is to capitalize the first word of a sentence. Another one is to capitalize the names of other proper nouns such as people, countries, places, languages, brands, companies, etc. Another one is to capitalize the first word of a quote, to capitalize days, months, and holidays, and to capitalize most words and titles, and capitalize time periods and events. Now, in these rules, I want to give a focus to the second rule, the one in red. Capitalize the names of the proper nouns, such as people, countries, places, languages, brands, companies, etc. So now I want to share, why is capitalization important? Why do we use it? So the reason why we use capitalization is to give words a specific meaning or importance. So just using this as an example, just by the fact that the noun China is being capitalized, it gives it the meaning of, like, if it's referring to the country China. Why? Because it's capitalized, because it's a proper noun. Now, basing it on the message that the sentence is trying to reflect, can you please drop the boxes of glass and china off? It makes me think, how could you fit a whole country? How could you fit China in a box, right? So that made me realize that by China, it's referring to the china plates, which are very known, and they're referred to as china as well. However, since we're just talking about the plates here, China must not be capitalized. That's the first correction that I noticed. Now, another thing that I noticed and that I want to give a focus today is phrasal verbs. Now, I want to focus on, can you please drop the boxes of glass and china off? Right here, I highlighted in red, drop, the verb drop, and the particle off, okay? So let's start by saying, what are phrasal verbs? So phrasal verbs are phrases that consist of a verb with a preposition or adverb, or both. In this case, we will refer to them as particles. They function as a verb whose meaning is different from the combined meanings of the individual words. Now here I put a formula for you guys to have a reference on. We have the main verb plus the particle, which is a preposition or adverb most of the time, all the time. Okay, so here I put in some examples. You need to look up for the word in the dictionary. So here our phrasal verb is to look up. Now, the verb to look is to actually see, right? And the particle up is telling us where to look at, right? So if we take them literal, it would say look up. However, it has a different meaning. Since they're a phrasal verb, the meaning changes. You need to look up for the word in the dictionary. So this phrasal verb right here, since they're working together, the meaning changed to search. You need to search for the word in the dictionary, okay? So another example here is, Ms. Bringa showed up late for her class, okay? Another one here is, turn the TV off, please. So right here, I want to give a focus on the phrasal verbs that can be separable. So just like some phrasal verbs stick together, there's some that can work together even though they're separated, okay? So now, I want to focus on the types of phrasal verbs. We have transitive phrasal verbs and we have intransitive phrasal verbs. So transitive phrasal verbs are phrasal verbs that have a direct object and can be separable and inseparable. So here I put an example. You need to fill out this form. So the phrasal verb here, fill out, means to complete. You need to complete this form. However, it can actually work separated. We know it's a transitive phrasal verb because it has a direct object, which in this case would be this form, okay? So now, back to separable phrasal verbs. We know it's a separable phrasal verb because we can put the object between the main verb and the particle, which in this case would be changed to, you need to fill this form out. Okay, so that's how we know that it's separable and a transitive phrasal verb because it has an object and it can be moved around. However, we have intransitive phrasal verbs, which in this case, they do not have a direct object and they cannot be separated. They need to be together all the time. So here I put an example. Today I woke up at 10 a.m. We see here that there is no direct object. We only have the intransitive phrasal verb to wake up, right? And we cannot move I woke 7 a.m. up, 10 a.m. up. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't have a meaning at all, okay? So now, this is the final correction that I did. Teacher, why is this sentence wrong? Can you please drop off the boxes of glass in China? Now, as you guys can see, I moved the particle off, which was at the end of the sentence. It was after the noun, and I moved it right next to the verb drop, so it could work together. We know it's a transitive because it has the boxes of glass in China. However, if the verb drop was on its own, it would mean like you're dropping the boxes to the floor. You're dropping them. However, since we moved the particle off right next to the verb drop, we form drop off, which it changes the meaning to actually deliver something somewhere. So can you please deliver or drop off the boxes of glass in China? And that is my hot seat question explanation. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys were able to understand my points. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Okay, so as an activity for capitalization, I came up with a very simple yet kind of fun way to practice capitalization. So this activity involves group work of 2. So each group will be assigned a different newspaper, an article, a magazine, and in less than 10 minutes, the students will have 10 minutes to identify all the words that are capitalized. And once they identify them, they're gonna discuss with the whole class after the 10 minutes are done, why is it capitalized? Is it a name, a place, a brand? Why? Why is it capitalized? So this way they will know how to analyze carefully and how to identify the different rules of capitalization. Okay, so an activity for phrasal verbs. Students will do an activity where they will enjoy playing after the lesson. So the only materials that the students will need for this activity is just 1 marker and 5 poster papers per group. So this activity is called Picture the Phrasal Verb. In order to play this activity, students will be placed into groups of 5, which would be 4 groups in total. And once students are placed in their groups, they will compete 1 group versus 1 group. So when the game begins, these 2 groups that are competing against each other will take turns. If it's group 1's turn, there will be 1 student in front of the rest of the group. He will be assigned 1 transitive phrasal verb that can be either separable or inseparable. Once a transitive phrasal verb is assigned to the student, he must draw as many clues as possible in order for his classmates to guess the phrasal verb that was assigned to the student. For every turn they have, there will be a different group member drawing the phrasal verb for his teammates. If the group members guess the phrasal verb correctly in less than 3 minutes, they will create a quick sentence that has the correct use of the phrasal verb. So here I put an example in the drawing of the student drawing a switch, and well, the phrasal verb would be turn on, and another teammate is saying separable, and another teammate must say a sentence, turn the TV on. So that's how we know it's separable, right? So that's an example that I included right there. And so once the time is up for group ones, it is now group two's turn, and so on and so forth. So the group that earns the most points wins. So this is an activity that I think they will enjoy a lot because it involves them being really active, thinking, and well, for one student to be drawing using his or her imagination. And yeah, and I think students really enjoy competing against each other. So this is a fun activity to learn about separable and inseparable phrasal verbs. And it could also work with transitive and intransitive phrasal verbs. So thank you. This was my activity for phrasal verbs.